Hello everyone, Gun Chronicles here. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today's episode is going to be a special one because it's going to be going over the very first collaboration effort between myself and Level 50 Unlocked. And it's kind of interesting the way this collaboration came about. We were just chatting on Physics Games Discord channel, and Level 50 had been working on a customized version of Trader Joel's Place, and he'd got done, and he asked me if I would be so kind as to take a look at what he's done and if I had any design suggestions. And I was like, sure, I could do that. I'd be happy to. And so he sent me the files, and I got them loaded in on my system and loaded into the prefab editor, and I started looking at the place. And I got the idea that instead of messaging him back all the design changes that I would have like to suggest, I should just make a copy of that prefab, rename it, and then do all the changes to it, and I could send that back to him. And then whatever he likes, he could keep, or he could, change it back to whatever he wanted. And if anyone who's played the game knows, this is the original version. This is the vanilla Trader Joel that you'll find in the game, which I've already done a review of my custom version of Trader Joel, but here is what Level 50 did and what he sent me. And as you can see, he made a lot of changes. He did a lot of work, and it looks really good. I was very impressed with what he did, and it just looks excellent. This is what he originally sent to me. You can see he expanded Joel's hut out. It's a lot bigger, and he added an extra lookout tower over here. Kind of expanded on the garden area. You got coffee over here, chrysanthemums over here, and he kind of extended the corners out here. He's added in this nice industrial fencing around the edges. Then you have this central way of getting up and into the main hut.
Greetings, stranger. I've got the best deals in Navezgane.
We know you do, Joel, and we appreciate you for it. But here's what he had inside. But one of the first things I noticed was you got the stairway here. You come over to this side, and well, it was kind of missing one. So that was the first thing. I was like, well, I'm going to change that and even them up. And also, you don't have access to getting behind to all these bookcases, really. So some of them you could get to, and some of them you can't. If you go around here to the sides, you can. And I'm like, well, I'm going to make it where you can get back there And then I noticed the ceiling texture was the same as the roofing shingles. So that was another thing. I was like, well, I'll repaint that. But then this right here triggered my OCD. We have a warehouse light and it's just kind of dangling here in midair. This is not a knock at all against level 50. This is just simply a limitation on building in the game, the way the blocks interact with each other. Since this panel here with the wood plates, this whole space here is considered a whole block, even though it's just this one little section showing here. Well, that's as close as you can get this warehouse light to matching up to this surface right here. Is just a limitation for the game. Same thing here. The Fun Pimps neglected to give us a corner piece for this type of railing here. And because of that, you have a choice. The way this is made, you put a railing here or you put it here. We do not have a block that has it going on both sides here. So sometimes when you run into issues like that, you have to get very creative on a solution for it. And but like I said, this one just kind of triggered my OCD because I just cannot stand having stuff floating in midair. Another little thing I noticed was you had a catwalk plate here and then a railing here. And I was like, I was going to plan on changing that to a catwalk plate that already has the railing included with it. That way it would match up to the railings on the stairs here. And once again, me and my OCD, there was a coffee plant missing here, so I added that in as well. And then I noticed the you have dirt over here for the terrain for the garden area for the coffee. Well, I had the idea I'd do the same dirt terrain underneath the garden for the chrysanthemums over here. But he had this, he'd moved this, whatever you want to call this thing, where you have the piping coming out. This is in the original Trader as well, but it's positioned more over here. So he kind of moved it and redesigned it. But those were the main things that I saw that I'd like to change. That, and then I've just never been fond of having these iron spikes up on top of the walls, and just kind of, they don't really perform any real function up here other than getting in your way when you're trying to get around. But let's go airborne here. He gave Joel plenty of solar panels, but I also noticed the shingle texture he'd used on this bottom section here, and then there's one area here where it got missed. Easy to do, very easy to do. But I was like, I'll planning on repainting that. And then of course, you know, he has Joel's vending machine right here. But he'd use this industrial fencing, rather nice. But he left a gap here. But me, my main goal was to fix this. And so here is what I did. This is what it looks like after the little changes that I made to the place. As you can see, I got rid of the iron spikes up here and replaced it with the cone, which makes the logs look like they're spiked now. And then I went around on the bottom edge of the railing and added these pole plates just to kind of give it a little extra flair, so to speak. And oh, that was one other thing. I moved this light around here because it was positioned facing out here. Once again, an easy oversight. I just happened to when I'm building, my OCD kicks in, and little things like that just kind of, once I notice it, they really stand out to me. But I ended up, I rotated that around to the correct direction, and then I changed the texture for the log here. And like I said, added in the coffee plant. Then I added in the terrain underneath the chrysanthemums. It's dirt under here now too. And then I added in a second vending machine with a couple of trash barrels on either side, and then got a sneaky little ammo pile stashed on top of it here, and a food pile on this one. And this is where I changed the catwalk plate. See, it railing matches up now. But here was my solution to the main problem. I added this little covered balcony area. I got rid of the big wood blocks that run to here and put plates, rotated where they were facing up, and then I come along and added in these catwalk plates that have the railings already attached to them. So I was able to put a corner piece here and then one here, which by adding this plate in here, that freed up this block area and allowed me to put another railing here. And then so that filled that in. That solved that problem. And then since I now have a balcony, I could use this other warehouse light to mount here. And so all the problems were solved. And then I went with this this wood ceiling texture here, and then underneath on the soffits, and then I did the same thing inside. That's right, Joel, sing us a tune, buddy. But I changed the ceiling texture in here to the wood ceiling, and then here's where I fixed the stairs, and I adjusted some of the shelving. I added in these electronic store shelves here, and then put in this these clothes racks. Joel is supposed to be specialized in clothing and armor, and I did that on both sides. Just a little bit of, kind of mix it up a little bit, and then gave him an ATM, and I opened it up to where you could get back here behind, and now you have access to all the books. And level 50 had put up these TV screens to match for all the security cameras that are around. And you know what? Now I'm thinking of it, I should have got some wall safes and put on the back side of this desk here. Darn it. I think of it now. Okay, another one. Well, And I just got another idea too. I should have put some vent fans up there too, so something like this. Let's see here. Not Vinny, vent. There we go. I'll learn how to spell one of these days. There we go. And as long as we're here, yeah, wall safe. Yeah, should have done something like that along here. Can't do it here because it's trader protection area, but you get the idea. You can, and then had those up there with this on the outside. Yeah, I have the idea now.
Take your time.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. But level 50 had this bob wire here going, and he has these mannequins in the corner. I added in the railings to each corner to kind of give the bob wire the appearance of being anchored to something. And then I added in a little box of trash here and some cement bags to go along with the destroyed forge, chemistry station, and workbench. I also threw in this toolbox. This is a random helper. It may or may not be lootable. And I threw these pipes back here just for decoration. And I added in a ladder here, which you go up and you have, I put a little bit of old trash up here and a toolbox, and got lucky on this one. You can actually loot this one. This is also a random helper. And then I also expanded Joel's solar panels. I added another set up on the top. And then I expanded the industrial fencing. You know, I filled in all the gaps, so it goes all the way around underneath now. And then I also added in these warehouse lights here. And, oops, got stuck. There we go. And over here. And then level 50 added in this. A 50 for him. And a GC for me. Kind of a little own little signature mark there. Which there's a funny story behind this. You see, I did all these changes, and I zipped up the files and sent it back to him. And like I said, instead of messaging him all the changes back to him, it's like, I'll just do the changes myself, and then I'll send it to him, and what he likes he can keep, and what he doesn't, well, he can switch back or get rid of, or whatever, you know, makes him happy. And so I sent him these updated files, and then he sent me some files back, and he was like, hey, here's the final product, and by the way, there's a secret in here. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I pull these the files back in the editor, and I was surprised that he liked all of my changes. He kept everything that I did. But I started looking around, and I was like, I don't see the secret you're talking about. What am I missing? He's like, he gave me a hint. He's like, oh, where does Harry Potter live? And I'm like, well, under the stairs? And he's like, yeah, there you go, you got it. And I'm like, okay. So I pull it back up in the prefab editor. I come in here. I'm like looking around. I'm like, I don't see anything. What are you talking about? Well, I messaged him back. It's like, I still don't see what you're talking about. And he's like, what? Well, wait a minute. Well, while he's looking, I come back out into the main program, and I get the idea. It's like, wait a minute. I'm going to check the timestamp on the files. Well, when I checked the timestamp, turns out he had sent me the same files that I had sent him. So he'd been basically having me on a wild goose chase. And he messaged me back and on Discord, and he was like, oh, wait, my bad. I sent you the wrong set. I was like, yeah, I just found that out. So we are a finely tuned and well-oiled collaboration machine. But I thought that was rather funny. I was like, of course you know I'm including this story in the video review. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, roast me. I was like, hey, it's just extra video content, brother. It's all good in the neighborhood. But yeah, that's what was missing. This was the secret, the little signature here for me and him, is for our little what ended up being our first collaboration effort. But Level 50 has already posted a review of this on his channel, which there will be a link to his channel down in the video description. So please go over and take a look at it, and be sure to give him a thumbs up, and a subscription is always appreciated. And that applies for my channel as well. You know, got to do a little shameless self-promotion also. But this is the culmination of our collaboration effort. Our first ever. And it just kind of came about in a just us chatting in Physics Games Discord. He has since did a updated and custom version for Trader Bob, and he has sent that to me as well. And it is way down there on the other end of the test range here. So you can be expecting a review on that. And in fact, as of this moment, he just posted his review of Trader Bob. So you will be getting a second one for that on my channel. And if you can't wait, you can get kind of a sneak peek at it over on his channel, because he's already posted his review. I agreed. It's like he definitely did most of the work on this thing. I basically just kind of come along behind and did a little bit of touch up. So that was pretty much the extent of my my contribution to the place. But as you can see, he did most of the heavy lifting. I just kind of come in belong behind as I grabbed the last few cardboard boxes and got it moved. I guess another analogy would be if we were building a car, he made the car and I come along and just slapped the paint job on it, and it was like, all right, there you go. Pleasure to help. But hope you all enjoyed the episode. I'm going to leave you all with it. And once again, follow the link to Level 50's channel down below. And if you, before I do sign off, if you want a copy of this to use for yourself, he has loaded this up to Nexus Mods, so you can get it there. And now that I relayed that little important piece of information, I'll thank you all again for tuning in. Gun Chronicles, signing off, and I'll catch you on the next one.